Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? This is your girl, Dr. T. What's going on? Listen, so this morning we're going to get right into it. If you've been following me, thank you. If you haven't, why? No, this is your girl, Dr. TOD. I created Coffee with Dr. T because I get my best friend and I, this is a time for us to kind of chop it up. And I thought maybe it would be a good time for me to kind of chop it up with you as well. And so, listen, you guys, I realized this is kind of like my anniversary that we started this pretty much a year ago. So that's why I put the topic a little bit as, consistency and also getting out of the pit, getting out of a pit. And so sometimes in life, when we are trying something new or doing something and you're feeling like, is what I'm doing matter? Is what God has given me matter? And so I say yes. I'll tell a story. I was in the grocery store and somebody was like, "Oh, Dr. T, I watched, your video." And I was like, "What?" I didn't even think anybody was watching, right? So consistency matter. And so even today, I wasn't going to come on because I have something else to do. But within the last hour, I was like, let me just really think about what I'm going to talk about this morning and that we make it quick so that I can do what I have to do. Because why? I want to be consistent. I want to be consistent in showing up. And that's what matters. Even I've been doing some of the TikToks and I love the TikTok that says, why do you keep doing TikTok videos and nobody's watching? You know what? Who's watching? I'm my biggest supporter. I'm my biggest fan. So how do you stay consistent? How do you when, especially when you're like, is what I'm doing matter to people, or is what I'm doing helping others, or I'm not getting a thank you, I'm not getting the accolades, right? Sometimes you don't really need that. What's inside you? What's your passion? What do you like to do? Right? And so even with that, I would even say, even this week, there was a moment that we're getting ready for an event tomorrow, and you know I was like, we're doing all this stuff, and the people that were supposed to show up didn't show up, and I was doing it by myself. So I was like, all right, I got it. But then I got a huge hug of thanks. So sometimes it's not about what you get, is your consistency that will eventually show up where somebody will say thank you. Because if you don't show up, you don't know whose life you're going to touch when, or not touch. Let me go back. If you don't show up and be consistent. So I think it's important for us, especially now that, we're coming out of the pandemic. What did you start? And maybe sat there because you were thinking that ain't nobody watching this, ain't nobody doing this, I don't feel like doing this, or I'm not getting the thank you from it, right? Who cares? If God gave it for you to do it, and that's where I'm at. So sometimes you can get into a pit, and that's a mindset. Sometimes you can get into a pit and then you don't move forward. So this is where I'm going to try to get you. And that's also that kind of theme of hope, and that P standing for persistent, right? Persistent, consistent. And so who's watching today? I see something. Hey, Miss Susan. So let me know who's watching. So that is the topic for today. We are talking about being persistent and being consistent, regardless if you're the only one showing up to do it. Okay, so let's get started. So number one, I always have to start with the scripture a little bit. So we're going to do that. So I'm going off of Titus 2 7 through 8. It says, show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching, show integrity, dignity, and sound speech that cannot be condemned, so that an opponent may be put to shame, having nothing evil to say about us. So here, as I'm reading this, it says, show yourself in all respect to be a model of good works. So that is saying that respect everything that you do, show up, be that model of the work that you are doing. And it's good work. Don't let anybody tell you that it's bad work, especially if you're showing up with a caring, a tender heart, right? That's what, yet this week, if you saw my post, I'm saying that I'm tender, because I have a caring heart. And so, and in your teaching, show integrity. Integrity is a big word, you guys. And so, teach and show in integrity and in dignity, you know, not to, dignity. Somebody might say, oh, dignitaries, they're highfalutin. No, we're not talking about in this sense. We're showing up because you're proud of what you're doing, right? And sound speech that cannot be condemned, meaning don't come up here and do no hokey dokey stuff. Be genuine about what that is. Don't try to do anybody else. Don't try to be anybody else. Be you, right? So nobody else can say, oh, well, you said X, Y, and Z, and that was somebody else. If you remember back in the day, they were looking at Donald Trump's wife and some of the things that she was saying, and they were saying, well, she piggybacked this off of Michelle Obama, or she piggybacked this off of Mrs. Carter. So be who you are, and maybe make sure if you're going to quote people, make sure you give them the credit that you are using their quote, right? So then nobody's coming back and saying, what? So that an opponent may be put to shame. And so in here, it's like, yes, there is some competition, right? But when we say put to shame here, you were uniquely made. So we're going to have opposition, of course, along all the fronts. Whenever you're doing good, there's definitely going to be opposition. So when we're saying that, it's saying that that whatever they have to say, the naysayers is just goes behind, because they really don't have anything to stand on, right? And so having nothing evil to say about us, the same thing. So I just broke that down really, really quick for you so that you understand the biblical concept of being consistent and how to show up not only for others, but show up for yourself. Okay? Show up for yourself. So then, there are certain things that you can do to get out of the pit. Have you ever encountered a person who feels like they are just unfocused, or maybe this is happening to you? Maybe you're trying to figure out what's your next move, or where am I going next? And so studies have shown that many people, including very successful ones, you guys, feel this way. So we often get the feeling that we're stuck in a rut, going through the daily grind just to say, I'm just here. Sort of like being on a treadmill at the end of the day, and we're just spinning our wheels, right? And just don't feel like you're accomplishing anything. So while most of us are not happy or satisfied with this feeling, some are happy with it. But if you're not happy with feeling stuck, you know, you don't want to be in that. So here are a couple of things. What are you doing to achieve your goals? These are some of the questions you need to ask. What are you doing to achieve your goals? Are your goals achieving activities consistent? Remember, I said consistent, right? And do they fit you in your personality? Okay. Have you eliminated the waste in your life, and your mind? And what's taking your time and energy, but not helping with goals to achieve them? Okay. And then the third question is practice number one and number two. Okay. So remember, although that great achievements take time, right? Sure, we hear about this guy or these things, about people just coming out. They have all these multi-million dollars, but it took time for them to get there. So get out of the pit. Stop. You can get out of it by just going through one, two, and revert and redoing one and two. So rewind it if I'm going too fast. And so trying doing something that's going to work for you. Try not to do so many things. Try to make sure that it fits into your lifestyle. And then as you mature, your things have changed as well, right? So don't go back into the pit. Get unstuck. Look at the big picture. Write down what your goals are. Stay focused and consistent on what you're doing, regardless of if anybody is actually giving you any accolades for it or not, and just stay consistent and persistent. That's part of my hope, right? My hope, for the P for hope. And so one of the things that I do sometimes is do affirmations. Positive affirmations are one of the most, we had that talk this week. If you missed our 5 day, 5 fab, wonderful leaders, we had a 5 day um, business mastery. And we talked about affirming our work, affirming you. So, positive affirmations are one of the most powerful tools that you can use to create meaningful, successful, and fulfilled life. And so, many people have developed powerful affirmations that bring about change in their behavior and circumstances. And so, when you deliberately use positive affirmation, the effect that it has on your life is tremendous. It's powerful. And so, but you will have a much higher chance, you'll have a higher chance of achieving your goals when you start using affirmations, right? And so, for example, I'll use one: turning lemons into lemonades, right? That's one of the things I love. So that's my focus. Like, what can I, what lemon is given to me, and how do I make it sweet and tasty, right? So, turning lemons into lemonade, right? That's one of mine. So, one of the things, if starting your day of daily affirmation, um, is really making sure that you have a space for it, that you are able to clear your mind and relax within it, right? Because you have to be able to use the senses that God has given you, and you can't be tense in it. And so, then once you do that, I always say take some deep breaths and really get in tune with your body. Relax your toes all the way up to your head, and then start really thinking about what really matters in your life. And so then you want to then go to the visualization of it, right? Um, so if you have something, you can say, um, you know, today I affirm that no matter what comes in my path today, I'm going to turn that lemon into lemonade, right? So that is saying that that in this journey today, that it's going to, that it's not going to have um, always positive days, right? And so, maybe the type of work that you have is as a CEO that you got to put out fires, you're always putting out fires. And so today is just going to be a lemonade day. And then you just make a lemonade all day, you know, and that you can do so with a smile. You can just imagine. So then the other one is visualize yourself making that lemonade, right? And how do you squeeze the lemon, the process that it takes, right? So figure out what your affirmations are. We have information um in our um in our academy on the affirmations. You can go there. I did not put that on the bottom here. Hold on. Gotta put that on the bottom. There you go. So we have an affirmation kit in there. Go and check it out. Just lost what I had. Then once you visualize it, I always say that, you can then, come out of it a little better. I think when you really start affirming your day, just start affirming it, you know, it's gonna it's gonna get better and better and better, right? And then people are gonna look at you differently. People are gonna look at you differently. They're gonna be like, she's not as tense as she or he would be, or um, you know, or maybe in a sense that the negative thoughts that they may have had about you as a CEO, because you're that hard person, you're like, I'm not accepting, no, I'm not, this is what it is. But when you start putting affirmations in your life, you know it definitely helps push the needle in a different direction, in a more positive direction. And that's what affirmations are: taking your day and trying to make whatever comes your day um, a positive one, regardless of what happens. And because you started at the beginning of the day, right? And you get into tune with that. And even a lot of people are like, oh, well, affirmations, really don't help me, right? Well, then what does? Because reading the Bible is another devotion, is another affirmation. I just read to you Titus, right? I just read to you Titus 2, 7-8. Show yourself in all respect to be a model of good work. That's an affirmation right there. I'm going to show up today. I'm going to make sure that I respect myself today, that I'm a model of good work. Can't nobody tell me that I can't do this work. Can't nobody tell me that I am the best one to do the job. Can't nobody tell me that, right? And in your teaching, show integrity, dignity. I am going to show up today with integrity. I'm going to hold my head up high today, no matter what comes. And everything that comes out of my mouth will be sound teaching that can no one say anything than that. What? And that's an affirmation right there. So you see what I'm saying? You can also use the Bible and use it to affirm your day, right? And one of the things I always tell people to do is start with Psalms. Psalms is just emotional, right? It really helps to get you in tune and in one with the Spirit of God. And actually, my mentor told me to start with Psalms. I like Romans, but I've been doing a little Psalms work in the last 3 months. So definitely, those are some of the tips that I can give to you today. So visualize, especially if you have like a meeting or anything like that, kind of make sure that you go in with an affirmation that you know that it's going to be a good day. It's going to work out, right? It's going to work out today. So this is your girl, Dr. TOD. I want you to win in every aspect of your life. This is why I come on. This is what I do. This is why I'm being consistent. And I know I came on a little later than the 8 o'clock, but it's okay. That's why it says 8 o'clock ish. And so I will see you guys on the other side. Look below right there so that you can check out the stuff that we have in the academy. Also, guess what else we got for you today? Hold up, hold up. Ooh, gotta add that in there. Go and get your merch. So just got our t-shirts in. Jesus coffee, amen. So if you gotta have your coffee in the morning, right? Gotta have your coffee. We have a coffee mug just for you right there. Jesus coffee, amen. And we have t-shirts to go with that. Boom. And proceeds go to a nonprofit organization. So get in there now. logicatcureinc.org/shop and get your merch. And don't forget, coffee with Dr. T. All right, see you guys later. Bye-bye. I haven't played. Oh, that's what I want to. I haven't played. I didn't play the music today because the video today, because somebody keeps saying that it's a copyright, but I got it from Canva, and I was really confused about that. Um, but yeah. So you guys have a blessed day. I'm not gonna play all of it, but have an amazing week. See you guys. Bye bye.